Now we're going to get into a really interesting subject about parallel universes and multiple existences. Now, we used to think that parallel universes and multiple existences used to only be fantasy, from stories like C.S. Lewis's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, to the 90s movies The Matrix, and popular TV shows like Fringe. The Hindu Puranas and Vedic texts have hinted at the existence of a multiverse. However, just as the geodetic effect proved Einstein's theory of relativity true, quantum mechanics is showing us that these realms are distinctly possible. This multiverse is comprised of everything that exists and can exist: space, time, matter, and energy, as well as all the physical laws of the universe. Quantum mechanics explains that everything has a probability associated with it, even in your current reality as you know it. On top of that, it also states that all possible outcomes are likely to exist at some point, meaning one reality gradually just slips into another reality. To break this down further, there are an unlimited number of possibilities for each action you take. For every action you take, there's an opposite action also taken in another universe. So, for example, when you wake up in the morning and you might hit your alarm clock and go back to sleep, there's another version of you that didn't hit the alarm clock or hit the alarm clock and got up and actually went for a shower. Now, there's multiple reactions and things that you can do in this universe, and that's why you can create any reality you want, because it already happened. You see, one of the best known examples of this counterintuitive and dualistic nature in the quantum world is the double slit experiment, which is sometimes called the Young's experiment or the observer theory. If you take a piece of material that blocks light, creating a barrier, and cut two small slits in it, and hit the slits with the light, the photons pass through the slit and meet up again on the other side of the barrier. This meeting is known as interference. But send the photons at the slit one at a time, you'll still see the same thing. In effect, the photons flow through both slits as a probability wave, and these probabilities interfere with each other. The same behavior can be observed with particles. In many instances, an electron will behave as a simple particle, but it will also act as a probability wave when confronted with a double slit. This is called wave-particle duality. The strangest part is when a quantum observer is watching. Quantum mechanics states that particles can also behave as waves. When behaving as waves, they can simultaneously pass through several slits in the barrier and then meet again on the other side of the barrier in the same exact format. Bizarre as it may sound, interference can only occur when no one is watching. So once an observer begins to watch the particles going through the slits, the picture changes dramatically. If a particle can be seen going through one slit, then it's clear to the observer that it didn't go through the other. In other words, when being observed, electrons are being forced to behave like particles and not like waves. The mere act of observation affects the experimental findings. So the question is, are we affecting our own realities by just observing them? And in reality, does a multiverse really exist, and can we control what we want just by merely observing it? As you've experienced inside a projector cell, the answer is yes. Speaking of multi-dimensions, there is also said to exist a dimension of consciousness that contains a vibrational record of every soul's journey, as well as the complete knowledge of every human experience and history of the universe. This is what's called the Akashic Records. Akasha is a Sanskrit word that translates to primary substance or ether. And this is the energetic substance that makes up the universe. And the root of the word Akasha is derived from two ancient Tibetan or northern Indian words, Aka, meaning space or storage space or repository, and Sa, which means sky, hidden or secret. Putting this together, Akashic Records are a hidden library of records that are imprinted or written in the very ether or fabric of the universe or universal consciousness. In short, these records are energetic imprints or complete repositories of every thought, every action, emotion, and experience that has ever happened or occurred in time and space. This includes every experience, lifetime, and reality that has ever existed, past, present, and even in the future. Every single person, including you, has a unique record. It is even said that the soul of groups, events, organizations, and even locations has their own Akashic record. That means even our powerful Project Yourself community has its own record. Your record contains every single piece of information about your soul's existence and experience, its relationships, its health, its abundance, and even lack of. Accessing your record can help you expand your consciousness and ultimately give you more power to personally and collectively create the reality you desire. So, how can you access these records? Well, these records are automatically and constantly updated through astral projection or out-of-body experiences. So, get on to decalcifying and activating the pineal gland of yours. Also, as I mentioned earlier in this level, clearing your karmic energy or residue that can be caught up in your 8th chakra can help you access your own record. Glimpses of this record can even come to you in the form of flashes of intuition or instinctual hunches. However, some of the most powerful ways to access these Akashic records are through breathing techniques, mantras, and meditating on the Sri Yantra. Once you are aware of any past life blockages, you can more readily clear your future for the reality you desire. Removing past life blocks, which prevent the prana or energy from flowing through to your 9th chakra and ultimately into the astral plane, can have a positive physical effect on you, your body, your emotions, and thoughts. And it can help you tap into your supernatural powers, or siddhis, like telekinesis, seeing the future, or other similar powers. As I've touched on before, these siddhis are specifically mentioned in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. As Patanjali explained, the power of these siddhis can come from genetics, and you can be born with them, or you can tap into them at will through meditation and other techniques.